Hello, everybody. My name is Becca. I'm an interpretive naturalist with Summit Metro Parks. In the spirit of giving and reflection that I experience this time of year, I wanted to explore lessons in biodiversity, things that only Mother Nature can teach us. The common thread linking most of the lessons we'll talk about is a concept called ecosystem services. These are services our natural world provide to us for free by the fact of purely existing. The grand biodiversity that keep the world running, the clean water we recreate in, standing in the shade of a tree for relief in the hot sun, or taking in a beautiful sunset. We experience the benefits of these services every day, and there are lessons to be learned so long as we take a few moments to notice them. The first lesson I've learned is that beauty can be found everywhere. We can always find something nice to look at or something pleasant to hear. We find beauty in a late summer wildflower field at Springfield Bog, or by catching a glimpse of a hooded warbler with that silly little headdress. If you're lucky, you can even hear him singing in the forest. I hear him say, "Giddy up, giddy up, giddy up, let's go." Maybe you'll hear something similar. And sometimes finding beauty means to look closely. A decaying log in the woods may not look very beautiful to you, but if you look closer, you'll find mosses, other critters, and lichens like this lipstick powderhorn. We've all seen something beautiful, so take a moment to recall the most beautiful thing you've seen in the outdoors. Lesson number 2 is to work collaboratively to form truly symbiotic relationships. In this picture here, Bloodroot pokes through the carpet of leaves on the forest floor, taking advantage of the spring sunshine that reaches the understory. The bright white flowers with yellow stamens bloom for around 48 hours, attracting pollinators like flies and bees. A few weeks later, seeds are formed, and those seeds have a special, sweet, fleshy appendage called an elaiosome attached to them. Their purpose is to attract ants that then disperse the seeds, and everybody wins. Next, and certainly not least, magic does happen. There might be a scientific reason, but the magic behind it all is what keeps blowing my mind. Bioluminescence is one of the earliest magical happenings many people east of the Mississippi experienced during childhood. These tiny light-up insects captured my wonder and curiosity back then, and they still do now. Complete metamorphosis. How an egg the size of a pencil tip can hatch, become a caterpillar, go into a magical sleeping bag, and some 12 to 14 days later emerge a completely different being simply amazes me. On top of that, how an insect who weighs as much as a paperclip has some undiscovered but assumed compass inside of it, and who has never been to its overwintering grounds in Mexico can migrate thousands of miles and inspire people to rally around this poster child of insect conservation. That is truly magical to me. One of the earliest lessons that I learned while stomping around in the backwoods during childhood is waste not. Nothing in a natural system is ever wasted. It all eventually decomposes. We can thank the lack of waste to scavengers like adaptable and creative crows and coyotes, or perfectly created and beautiful turkey vultures whose bald heads and necks keep them clean when going shoulder deep into a carcass. Even our national bird specializes in ridding our world of waste. Everybody can do it. Next, embody the ghostly snowy owl and accept that flexibility is the gold standard. This big, beautiful bird lives in the tundra plains and specializes in hunting lemmings, small rodents that inhabit the Arctic too. Mom and dad tirelessly hunt, and when the getting's good, entire nests are made of lemming bodies for chicks to snack on. But when the getting's not so good, snowy owls have an eruption year, meaning they migrate south of their typical range in search of food. It's that red dashed line on the map. And that's exciting news for folks in Northeast Ohio, because many owls can be spotted along the Lake Erie shoreline, hunting in airports of all places. This begs the question, how can you better adjust to changes that you have no control over? I've been working on that one myself. And finally, the lesson I try to follow the most is leadership is living for the sake of others. And to me, no other species on Earth quite embodies this lesson like the mighty oak tree. A long-lived group of deciduous trees, oaks host over 550 species of moths and butterflies. That's a lot of caterpillars. And each nutrient-packed, soft-bodied mini sausage feeds thousands of species of birds and small mammals, and further on up the food chain it goes. Oaks are considered to be a keystone plant, kicking off entire ecosystems. Having spent time in ecosystems like these always leads me to the same question: where do I fit in, and how do I contribute? And to figure that out, I constantly fall back on the 6 lessons we talked about today. That beauty is everywhere, to waste not, to work collaboratively, to accept that magic happens, that flexibility is the gold standard, and that leadership is living for the sake of others. With that, I say thank you, and please share lessons you've learned in the comments below. Stay safe, be well, and thank you for supporting your Summit Metro Parks.